The owners of two different businesses in Ogunquit are working to figure out their next steps after a major fire over the weekend destroyed their buildings. Firefighters say they responded to Perkins Cove around 7 o'clock Saturday night. Fire departments from 8 nearby communities helped to put the fire out. No one was hurt, but a firefighter was treated for injuries on scene. The fire significantly damaged a restaurant and an antique store, leaving an uncertain future right before the holidays. News Center Maine's Pearl Small spoke with people in Perkins Cove about what happened and how they plan to help.
The businesses that were damaged in the fire were staples in the Perkins Cove neighborhood. All day, we've seen people walking by to come look at the damage and also reminisce on the memories that they'd made here.
We had our first date up here.
Karen and Dave Tibbetts remember that date well at the Oarweed Restaurant in mid-February of 2007.
We walked the Marginal Way, we came up and we had a cup of chowder, which he hates, and a cup of coffee.
Which I like.
Yeah.
Those cups of coffee and chowder were the first of many to come. After being married for more than a decade, walking back to where it all began is a tradition for them. But this Monday, that walk is a little different.
It's sad to see it gone like that.
Yeah.
It really is. But just goes to show you how fast these things can happen.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
Members of the community were shocked Saturday night to find a fire tearing down the beloved restaurant, as well as the antique store right next to it.
Which is sad because you don't get those back. They're all burned up. You can't recover that. That's an antique. It'll only be an antique once.
Unlike the restaurant, which was closed for the season, Uniques and Antiques was open that day.
Oh, there's not a lot of traffic down there this time of year.
Ogunquit Fire Chief Russell Osgood says the fire started a couple hours after the store closed. Thankfully, that meant nobody was in either of the buildings during the fire, but it also meant infrastructure damage would likely be more severe.
Obviously, the amount of fire that was there was a delayed report.
Chief Osgood says Uniques and Antiques was destroyed, and though the cause is still under investigation, they believe that's where the fire started. As for the Oarweed Restaurant, he's not as sure, but suspects it is also a total loss.
There's significant structural damage to the Oarweed Restaurant, so it's going to take a lot to rebuild it.
It's a project the restaurant's owners seem ready to take on. Through Facebook posts, they've said they'll do whatever it takes to reopen, hopefully by their 2025 opening day in the spring.
Next December, and we'll walk the Marginal Way again, and we'll stop for, I'll have chowder, he'll have coffee.
Looks like they've got 2 customers lined up already. In Ogunquit, Pearl Small, News Center, Maine.
Very tight-knit community down there. The Ogunquit Fire Chief is still asking people to be careful traveling in the area. The water that firefighters used to extinguish the flames left a lot of ice around the scene. They say there's also a lot of debris.